We would now like to start the press conference by Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Minister Kamikawa, please. There is one point from myself. I have been engaged in outreach diplomatic efforts where I strengthen relationship with various stakeholders and link that to diplomatic activities. As part of that effort, yesterday, on the 25th of March, I visited the Mexican embassy and held an exchange of views with 19 female ambassadors in Tokyo on WPS and other gender policies. In the beginning of the meeting, I myself introduced the number of female ambassadors in Japan and the percentage of women who joined the MOFA in April 2023. And also, I expressed expectations for further advancement of women in society. Regarding WPS, which I have been promoting as foreign minister as part of a major foreign policy agenda since I took office, I explained about the establishment of a cross-functional task force in the MOFA and also effort to date, including WPS in innovation. WPS is epoch-making in that it strongly calls for women to be not only passively protected, but women to participate in sustainable peace as a constructive actor. The world, including Ukraine, the Middle East, and Africa, is faced with very difficult situation, including vulnerable people, including women and children. Therefore, in order to build a society with diversity and resilience, and we need to promote WPS. This is what I said, and I received strong support from the female ambassadors. And also, like-minded country regarding WPS, and we were able to hear directly opinions from those countries which are like-minded countries in WSP yesterday. And based on the discussion yesterday, going forward, I would like to deepen my discussion with female ambassadors in Tokyo. And also, based on the insights and knowledge I learned yesterday, I would like to use WPS as a cross-cutting diplomatic agenda to implement concrete policies. That's all from me. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. If you are invited, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation. Igarashi-san, NHK. NHK Igarashi, thank you. Near Moscow, there was a terror attack. I have a question on that. Already 130 people and more have died. And also, Russian authorities indicted 4 people for this. What is your take? And also on the 25th, President Putin said that Ukraine is involved behind this attack. So what is your take about this?
On the March 22nd local time, shooting incident occurred at the commercial facility in the outskirts of Moscow, which resulted in a large number of casualties. Japan firmly condemns such an attack against civilians. And Japan extends its sincere condolences to the bereaved families and express its heartfelt sympathy to those who were injured, and also convey solidarity to those who fell victim to the terrorism. And then, with regards to the statements by President Putin and President Zelensky you mentioned, we are aware of them, but we are to refrain from making individual comments as a government. Thank you. Next question, please. Katsurada-san from Kyoto. I am Katsurada from Kyoto. I have a question with regards to the statement issued by North Korea. Kim Yong-jong of North Korea issued a statement mentioning that Prime Minister Kishida had conveyed his intention to meet with Kim Jong-un, Chairman Kim Jong-un, as early as possible. What is the take of the minister? And also, what would be the policies of the Minister of Foreign Affairs in response to the North Korea?
Yes, yesterday I am aware that Kim Yo-jong once again issued a statement. the Prime Minister Kishida so far has been saying that toward a resolution of various concerns with DPRK, he wants to realize leaders summit with Chairman Kim Jong-un, and under his direct leadership, he wanted to promote high-level consultation. For that purpose, through various channels, he has been constantly urging the other side to come forward. Matsuyama-san, Asahi Shimbun. Asahi Shimbun, Matsuyama. I have a question regarding UNRWA. UNRWA neutrality has been investigated by independent review group, and the interim report has been submitted on the 20th to Secretary General Guterres. And you have been saying that with a sense of speed, you want to address this issue. After the publication of this report, what kind of conditions are necessary for you to resume funding to UNRWA? And also, I think you are going to meet with Secretary General Guterres. And do you have any outlook in terms of timeline for the resumption of the funding?
So first of all, with regards to the interim report by the independent review group, it is not publicized. But in the interim report, with regards to UNRWA's mechanism and procedure to ensure impartiality, it is assessed that those mechanisms and procedure are in place in a substantial level, and also it identifies the focus points for UNRWA for further efforts. Japan is a donor country, and toward the strengthening and maintenance of UNRWA's governance, inclusive of measures need to be taken by UNRWA, the efforts or initiatives need to be taken for the resumption of the funding on those matters. We've been communicating with the relevant parties honestly. As part of that, this week, the meeting is being coordinated to be held with the Commissioner General Lazzarini of UNRWA, and inclusive of the efforts to strengthen governance of the UNRWA and its directionality in response to the allegation or those issues. We'd like to receive thorough explanation, and I'd like to, after that, we'd like to give consideration with speed. Asahari-san from Pan Orient News, please.
Has issued a warning advising Japanese travelers to be on alert against possible terrorist attacks in Arab and Muslim countries during the months of Ramadan, and especially near Friday prayers in the mosque. Some people and tourism industry officials in the region expressed concern about such warning and alerts, that they say it gives a negative impact, a negative view on their countries and the safety there, and it impacted that in kind of many Japanese stopped traveling to the area. So do you have any plans to change this policy that indirectly connects Islam with terrorism? Thank you.
Now, during the month of Ramadan, in the past, ISIL, Islamic State, Iraq Levant, and other Islamic extreme organizations called on stepping up operations and campaign. Therefore, risk of terror attack may escalate. For that purpose, every year before the month of Ramadan, MOFA issues a travel advisory for Japanese who are traveling and staying abroad. On the 27th of February, we issued a region-wide safety information. On the 22nd of March, local time, near Moscow, there was a terror attack at the commercial facility, causing many deaths. ISIL has claimed responsibility for that incident. Through region-wide safety information, we once again issued a warning. Now, region-wide safety information is intended to warn about the possibility of some Islamic extreme organizations intensifying their activity, taking advantage of the Ramadan. Therefore, we are encouraging travelers to take appropriate safety measures. There is no intention to link Islam with terrorism. not necessarily for Ramadan, but also before Christmas and New Year's Day, and also before holiday seasons and before the major events, people would have more opportunities to get together, and they could become a target of terrorism with higher possibility. So likewise, we issue alert on these occasions. So we appreciate it if you can have a correct understanding. IWJ. Good morning. IWJ Hamamoto is my name. WHO pandemic treaty and IHR revision is what I would like to ask you about. Minister Kamikawa, on the 27th February in the lower house budget committee, you said you are not going to seek the approval from the Diet for the pandemic treaty and IHR rule or revisions. And without signing the rules, Japan will accept the binding power. However, if there is no deliberation and approval at the Diet, the sovereign Japanese people, how could they express opinions? Maybe you are ignoring sovereign Japanese people, don't you think so?
So you refer to my statement at the Diet, and that was with regards to the amendment of IHR. In 1951, the Diet approved WHO Charter, and in order to prevent the spread of the disease, international spread of disease, is with the understanding that the adopted rule is favored to be implemented simultaneously by as many member countries as possible. With that idea, it is stipulated that the rule adopted at the World Health Assembly consists of the member countries will have effect on all the member countries. And IHR is one of such rules. And WHO Charter, taking part of which was approved by Diet, inclusive of the aforementioned, and that was explained. On the other hand, with regards to the pandemic treaty, negotiation is continuing. And so its contents or the format have not fixed yet. So inclusive of whether we are to be a part of which, at this moment, it is difficult to answer based on speculation. If we are to be a part of it, based on the contents or the specific format of the document, we will respond appropriately. For the drafting of the pandemic treaty and for the IHR amendment, I know that there are many different opinions. And as I have been mentioning, to gain understanding by the public and support, it is necessary for our diplomacy. So as much as possible, we'd like to give a thorough and accurate information provision. Thank you very much. Next question from Yomiuri. I'm Kamikawa from Yomiuri. Thank you very much. So this is from different from diplomacy issue. This is with regards to public opinion survey. So at the end of last week, we had a public opinion survey, and 9% of the respondents named you as a politician most fit for LDP president. You ranked number 3, and you're gaining popularity in such public opinion survey. And you said you like to focus on your responsibility with sense of mission and unwavering determination. What is your take about the people's view about you?
I was elected to the Diet for the first time in 2000, and since then, based on conviction, I try to fulfill responsibility as politician single-mindedly. And currently, as a member of the cabinet, I am wholeheartedly supporting Prime Minister Kishida. In diplomacy, I am engaged in currently with wholeheartedly the diplomacy and the domestic policy are two sides of the coin. They are inseparable. Domestic political stability is very important for diplomacy of the country. and Japan with rich and bright possibility, and Japan which is respected by the world and needed by the world, and also expected of by the world, that has to be handed down to the next prosperity. And in order to achieve that, I would like to fulfill my responsibility as foreign minister, which is assigned to me with a single-minded effort. And I am very grateful for the expectations people expressed, and I would like to become someone who is expected and who can fulfill expected work, live up to work. That is the single-mindedness of my own. Mainichi Shimbun, Murao is my name. With regard to domestic politics, former LDP Secretary General Nikai said he is not going to run for the next lower house election in order to take responsibility. And also, the former senior members of the Abe factions, their treatment and disposition are attracting much attention today. Regarding this issue, what kind of response do you think is needed?
Right, so the expression made by the Mr. Nikai, that was based on his own judgment, and I'd like to refrain from making comment as a government with regards to his statement. With regards to the political funding issue, as stated by Prime Minister Kishida, the politicians need to take a responsibility that is expected, and the reform needs to be done for that. And in order to regain public trust, LDP has to change. Domestic policy, domestic politics, and diplomacy cannot be separated. International situation is constantly changing. International situation cannot wait for Japan to gain understanding by the public and to deploy diplomacy with support by the public. With that attitude, we'd like to work on our duty with speed. Thank you very much. With this, we close today's press conference. Thank you very much.